do you think back then, was this a good deal for AIFF to give away all commercial rights?
I don't agree that, this easy money coming to AIFF. If the only interaction happens about the national team, you are discussing the wrong thing, because that team is not going to get you anywhere. I was contesting as president, and then the pressure came that
Somebody else has to be the president.
somebody else has to be the president, and it was like a shock. Bhaichung said, that person is going to backstab you. The Asian Games, like, it was so much of amateurism, political maneuvering. I was completely on him. That phone call gave him, and this guy panicked within, good say, 30 hours. He sends me the letter. He would be regarded as the worst in the history.
Before we go into your experience with football, and there's a lot to discuss there, I want to understand from your perspective the current state of football, right? So there is the relationship with Reliance. My understanding is that, just for everyone, and please correct me. So in 2010, there was a 15-year agreement signed. You kind of, it was the age for you, like when you got in, that existed, right? And the agreement says that all commercial rights of AIFF will be given to Reliance in lieu of a fixed fee that Reliance pays to AIFF, right? This fixed fee was, I think, 50 crores.
Yeah, 50 crore, or it is
20%,
of
whichever is higher. And then Reliance took a couple of years to set up a league. And the idea was all the investment in the league will be Reliance's or the franchise partners.
Yes.
And then whatever, if they make money, great. If they don't make money, great. AIFF gets the fixed fees.
Yes.
Now, question number one is, do you think back then, was this a good deal for AIFF to give away all commercial rights? I'm talking about now 2010 perspective. I mean, we'll come to where we are today.
Yeah, see, at that time, situation for AIFF was really getting into difficulties. Yeah, because the deal at that time was with Z. Yeah, and Z they were failing to pay
Any fixed,
fixed, whatever the arrangements. Yeah, and they defaulted as well. And that was the time when Reliance came in. So therefore, they kind of bought, the Z agreement first, and that's how they came in. And therefore, at that time, it was for AIFF there was no choice, yeah, but to go for it, because see, Reliance as is one of the the biggest in India, and partnering with the biggest industrialize, the name itself, the
Is
Reliance
massive.
and the people involved,
Yeah.
it's big enough,
Yeah.
Therefore, if you see in terms of the whole perception, packaging aspect, branding aspect, uh, the whole how it will be visualized, it is more than the deal itself.
Yes.
Then it is up to both the partner
How to
how
build it.
you kind of make the best out of it.
But
yeah.
Shaji, tell me something. When you partner with the Reliance, there are already going into the partnership. The positive, like you said, it's Reliance. It's also a lot of money. To get a fixed commitment of 50 crores or more is great for the federation. But you also kind of know that you are going to bed with a shark. Like, let's call a spade a spade. When somebody partners with Reliance, we know that this partnership is not a partnership of equals, right? The sense, if you were the general secretary or president of AIFF at that time, you might have still gone ahead with the deal, but you would know that this is not partnership anymore. This is like they are paying you and they will do whatever they want to do. You will probably have very little say. Is that a fair assumption?
I think it's again, this is the perception what is there. But again, I have dealt with them, unofficially. during 2010 as well, and and officially when I was part of AIFF. Therefore, I think it's more a perception there, not in reality. So therefore, there is a lot of flexibility. Otherwise, this partnership would not have lasted this
This
long.
long.
Yeah, because see, football in India is not something you can monetize in a one
Immediately.
year,
Yeah.
2 year,
Yeah.
and they bought in, many corporates in that we need to see. Otherwise, no. See,
Who
they
was
are,
investing in football?
yeah, who was investing in football? If Tata kind of, came back to football with the football team, the credit goes to them. If Chennai started within a 2 days time,
The
so
credit goes to
therefore,
them. Yeah.
they betted on Reliance, not on Indian football structure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So therefore, we need to see all those
Aspects.
positives. Yeah. When we look into, the perception what lies. So therefore, there, Indian football had no choice. Yeah, and yeah, definitely the deal could have done in a different way, no doubt. But then again, we cannot question what happened. Yeah, and we have no right also to see. I was also kind of in certain aspects, I was also criticizing a few aspects. Yeah, where there was something which could have done in a different
Differently.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but then when you deal with things, then you come to know the realities. And that way, I think, it was the fault of the federation not to get the best out of it. Yeah. And say, they are not, sitting on with a gun. Yeah. That you do this, you do that. No, absolutely not. Yeah. So therefore, what I think is how you communicate, how you kind of discuss the problems and solutions together. But when you start going in a two different direction,
Then it becomes
then are the
disaster.
problems, and then you know like perception wise people will talk because you are not communicating enough. That's the problem.
So, Shaji, I just want to follow the chronology, right? So, step one was that this deal, as per you, made sense for AIFF, potentially made sense for Reliance, who probably thought that we'll pick up this sport and they also got the basketball rights and we'll develop these two sports on the back of success of cricket, IPL, and to some extent PKL. They thought that these two sports can be picked. So, at that time, stage one, step one, it made sense to do the deal. Then comes step two, when the league was conceptualized. So they were, and I was from the beginning of time, from the bidding process till 7 seasons in or 6 seasons in, I was involved in running of FC Pune City. And there were some ethos which this league wanted the clubs to follow. So first is they got clubs, which I agree with you, they got some of the best investors. In fact, if you look at the founding members of IPL and founding franchise members of ISL, ISL had more cream, right? In the beginning, they got um, they got Goenka's in at some point, Tata's in at some point. Chennai was owned by Asian Paints. Delhi franchise with certain businessmen. So a lot of cream people. It was not like some real estate guy who's made some money, this, that, or the other, right? So good people came in, and the ethos of that league was foreign players in the beginning, marquee players, marquee coaches, and lots of glitz and glamour. Now, my question is, so step one, the deal, the step two, getting the right franchise owners, check, check. I think both was great. Step three, the format of it and where the money was spent. What is your view on that? Because I felt as a club owner, as a club executive, that we were forced to spend money on things which were not directly improving neither the quality of Indian players, nor the quality of Indian football, nor the quality of the league, but just the marketing. So it's okay to spend 5, 10, 15% on marketing, but we were forced to spend 30, 40, 50% of our budget on marketing by spending too much on these players. So what's your view on this?
I think the Lalit Modi's legacy on IPL and IPL's success, has kind of blinded many in Indian sports. You know, they many thought like what IPL has done, what IPL has achieved. You can just replicate. Yeah, and the whatever is there. Yeah,
The
and
same.
yes, and that is where we have faulted. We haven't independently evaluated the market sentiment, and market readiness, and the and the what do you say, the projections, and the whole cultural gaps in when it comes to football. Yeah, many other sports followed the same mantra, but
Also
they have
failed.
also
Yeah.
failed. Yeah,
Mm.
so that is where the IPL has
Hangover of IPL.
impacted these decisions. I'm telling you. And otherwise, they they would not have gone with those kind of, like quick investment, like say, today's quick commerce
Mm.
to
Mm.
say, you know,
Mm.
and that is where, and then they, within 3 years, 3 seasons, everybody learned,
Yeah.
this is not going to work and this is not going to bring in the investment back,
Mm.
and we need to really course correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and see, and we need to understand football works differently, and football global reach, and today you have dealt with big properties, how they are, they are not anymore local. Yeah, and you have to compete with that, and IPL and cricket, uh, there's no competition because they are the best.
They are the best. Yeah.
Everything is best.
Mm.
Top 100 players, they are there,
Mm.
and they are icons in India.
Mm.
And therefore, there was a gap, and that's where IPL capitalized. Yeah. But football, you have to compete, and that is where I think the best of the brains were not involved, I would think. Yeah, because IPL kind of made everybody blind, thinking, oh, in India this can work. Yeah, let's do this model. Yeah, but not. You know, that is where I think we could have engaged more people, and taken little more time to come up with the right model. Yeah, and football, say any way, what the success globally, it is about creating that fan movement culture.
Mm.
Yeah, and until that happens, yeah, you cannot really make it a sustainable product.
It felt
Yeah.
like you're trying to force that fan culture without organically creating that.
Yeah, exactly. So that is where your spends going to be far higher. Yeah,
Mm.
and you will not get return that. And India, it is more difficult because the brands are always comparing the benchmarking IPL.
Mm.
You cannot reach to even 25-30% of IPL level in every aspect. Yeah, whether it's broadcasting aspect, whether it is on ground uh, engagement, or in the digital space. All three, the advertisers, the brands, they had experienced something with cricket, and they want to see that success, or at least 50% of that success in other
Or
sports.
they would pay peanuts.
Yeah, or they don't want to be,
Mm.
because if now 10 IPL teams, you can go with either IPL teams or you go with the league. Yeah, and then you have other global franchises and the leagues which is happening, because that is where they think it is zero risk, and but other sports
Mm.
are always risky, because there will be 100 questions asked to the brand, and that is where the football failed, because the whole what you say, our culture, in terms of how marketing spends are decided. Yeah, that's a culture.
Mm.
It is not based on strict ROIs. you know Absolutely not.
See, Shaji,
It is a perception.
tell me a point that you made around cricket, right? One of the reasons why IPL works, like you mentioned, is the best quality of franchise cricket is IPL, right? So anyone who's a lover of cricket, whether you follow your heroes or not or teams, you watch that cricket, it's the best quality of cricket available in the world, right? Now, if you're an Indian fan, you have Premier League available, you have La Liga available, Serie A available, you have Champions League, you have FIFA World Cup. Now there's so many other tournaments which are also questionable. But you see global best football. Now, when you see the quality of football in India, whether it is ISL, I League, or some new third party comes or whatever, that quality will not jump. And they will, at least for the foreseeable future, there'll be a very distant gap between the quality of European football or global football and Indian football. Now, what is my incentive to watch Indian football is not necessarily then the quality. It has to be something else. It has to be either a hero or some local connect or some community connect or a fan culture or connecting with your club or feeling for your region, something. And when you're forced that some quality of players will be playing and all of this underlying thing does not happen, then what is the incentive for a for a fan to watch the match? Like how does that get bridged?
Yeah, I see. That is where they took all the risk and thinking these retired stars and global stars will be able to bring that footfall into the stadium, and that's how they build the franchisee brand and monetize it and make it big. See, the problem with football is if Del Pero people have seen in his best, yeah, and uh, he's coming and playing here, and everyone expects he need to
Magic.
deliver
Yeah.
the magic, yeah,
Can't even
like,
move.
yeah. So therefore, that is where you will not go third time to see him, because I have seen him. That's fine, because he's not going to do some magic on the pitch. Therefore, I
Yeah,
am
it's just
not
a
going.
person playing
Yeah.
then.
So
Yeah.
that is where the kind of the marketers didn't visualize, like, this can fail.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the fans, those who want to see performing players, they will only go to the stadium when when they are expecting that there is a magic going to happen.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to see my hero doing something which I cannot be able to digest.
Hmm.
How can Del Pero fail? You know,
Hmm.
how cannot Pires cannot make those
Yeah.
passes
Yeah.
which he was doing it for France and Arsenal.
Yeah.
And that is where you will stay back. I have seen my hero
Hmm.
in India. That's great, but then I cannot go and watch him
Hmm.
uh, where he's failing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that is like in an exhibition match. This is fine.
But in a
In
competitive
a
football,
competitive football,
hmm.
you cannot get. So
Hmm.
therefore, but we should not the question the intention.
Hmm.
You know, yeah,
Hmm.
because it is the calculated risk they took, but without even going into the minor details.
Hmm.
It is not about one match.
Hmm.
It is about lasting,
Correct.
7, 8, 10 games,
Hmm.
and what they do.
No,
And
I'm.
that is, see, and the investors didn't had that clue, because say in cricket and all, you can still deliver something even
Hmm.
you are
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
that okay, retired, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
yeah. And but football is a very physical competitive
Hmm.
sport, and when you see uh, you have seen in their peak, and that is
Yeah.
didn't click.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is a like some said J League started with it,
Hmm.
but then the J League started everything with a big project.
Hmm.
There was a great work behind. Yeah, you had local players ready,
Hmm.
and our problem is we don't have local icons in football. Yeah, and that is where your fan will rely on, and that is where your loyalty you build.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I am supporting this club since 5-year old, because my father used to support,
Yeah.
or I just
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our this all franchises and the clubs, except say the Mohun Bagan East Bengal coming in later, all are just new. So
Hmm.
therefore, it takes time to build that
Hmm.
loyalty
Hmm.
with the community.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that is where you will be able to, whether you are you are already relegated, you will still see capacity stadium.
Correct.
Why? Because
That
you know
connect is
that
there.
connect,
Yeah.
and that is where football stands out.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that to build, it's
It takes a while.
25,
Hmm.
30, 50
Hmm.
years, 100 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we just cannot think, okay, X and Y is going to be there, therefore this will work, the
But
same
somehow
cocktail.
we are stuck in the middle now, right? Like, so if somebody came to you and said that you have a 25-year project, right? Everyone in a country like India and with so much politics around positions and federations and so on, who's going to really look at a 25-year project? But here we are, we've spent over half a billion in my estimate, and we have already 15 years down, and we are, I don't know where we are, right? So just again, so after the beginning, I felt like first 3 4 years there was a lot of money spent in things which were probably not the most wise places to spend the money. And I agree that I don't question the intention, but I definitely question the approach, right? It was with good intention to build Indian football, but without proper research on, like, trying to replicate the IPL model and see if this works. But if you fast forward 5 years, lot these marquee player concept was gone. Lot of the money which was being spent on just pure glitz and glamour of Bollywood. Only the good ones, people who actually cared about the football, like Abhishek Bachchan and Ranbir Kapoor and John, of course, they stayed. But the Dhonis and the Tendulkars and Hrithik Roshans, all of the just the glitz of it went away. And most of the clubs built their own academies. They started getting in. Mohan Bagan eventually got other bigger clubs, historical clubs. So in a span of 7 8 years, a lot of good things happened, where development took a little bit of the center stage. The monies was mainly spent in the for the players and the development. The historical clubs came in. Money was not randomly spent into like other this thing. We also got a new club like KBFC, for example, that really showed what a fandom could mean. And at one point, we also had decent sponsors, both at a franchise level and a central level. And somehow, still, India's national team rankings were not being built. Apart from one or two regions, like especially Kerala, no other new region really picked up, said that we are embracing football. The old powerhouses are the same. No new heroes have emerged. We still have to rely on Sunil to come and do magic for us. Um, and we now, this last season, we had zero sponsors in central sponsors. Hero has moved away. Apollo Tires has moved away. A bunch of other sponsors moved away. Franchises are still selling their assets at a lower price that they were selling 5 years back. So where is the win? Like, on all parameters, whether they are technical parameters, commercial parameters, marketing parameters, fandom parameters, I just don't see the needle moving anywhere. So do you think this has been a success?
No, I think you are right. If you evaluate the outcome, yeah, compared to what was invested, definitely the outcome is not at all there. Yeah, and that is where what is I see, the gaps in terms of stakeholders coming together, having the common vision and working as one, because we are at a state where football requires tremendous teamwork to build the entire ecosystem. Yeah, and we cannot build ecosystem thinking that that paratrooping, paradropping will help. No, absolutely not. because we cannot see as a when the marquee player concept failed, therefore what is there? Yeah. So the thing is that we need to develop, groom our own stars, and to groom, an icon, uh, is something, a long term. Yeah. And that is where all the stakeholders come together, and discuss what are the key issues we are facing. And this is where, our problem is, because we say we hardly meet, we hardly discuss. We discuss everything in isolation, and we work in silos for with the problem, thinking, we can solve the problem in of everyone's alone. And that is where, we have lost considerable resources. Like, you might have built, 1,000-story building, and it doesn't exist now. Yeah? And you will have to restart again. And that is where, see, a country of 1.4 billion, because wherever I travel, people have great, respect for India, what it is doing in every aspect. Yeah.
Not football though.
Yeah, but why, football is not coming up? Yeah. And we are known because of our cricket and our technology, human capital wise, but then not because of, why we are not able to do. And we are still, and it is not rocket science, it's just basics, it's foundation. We are not at all focused on our foundation. We are not, how many kids are playing, how many kids are playing. I was in AIFF, when I went there, I wanted data from everyone, and our registration showed, some 1.4 lakh
Players.
players. I said, come on, man,
That's not possible.
just not possible. I said, the target is to reach to 10 lakh, 1 million, within this period. And we need to do it, because why this is required? Because if you want to take an informed decision, I want to know, how many 10-year-old are playing, and where they are playing, and at what level they are playing, and who are their, mentors, who are their coaches, in what circumstances they are playing. We don't know.
But Shaji, tell me something. If
So
we are
therefore,
talking about the success or the failure of ISL, is it ISL's responsibility then to do this? I mean, they are
no, no,
just a professional
absolutely,
league, right?
absolutely not. No, what I am trying to say is that, see, uh, we cannot question ISL. We cannot question franchisees, because they are working only with the cream what you have.
Correct.
Yeah, that's all. They are
And they're
not.
all losing money
Yeah, they are
anyway.
not. They are
Yeah.
losing money. Therefore, to think that they will put 10%, 15% investment into the grassroots, 20% investment into the youth and elite player, it's not possible. Why? Because they already are struggling to put the best in terms of even their first team.
So
Yeah.
who should do this?
So this is where the federation comes in. Federation has to play a lead role. Yeah, you don't have to. It's not necessary that federation need to have the money to do everything. No, you can channelize, you can encourage, you can motivate, you can bring people, and you can build collaborations. Like, the government has to invest biggest at the grassroots level, but there is no policy as such. So who should influence the policies? It is the stakeholders, is the is the federation. Because if the only interaction happens about the national team with the ministry or the government, you are discussing the wrong thing, because that team is not going to get you anywhere. Yeah,
Till that,
you will struggle.
yeah.
Yeah, what we need to work on the ground, and that is where government will be keen to invest, because they want to be seen with the masses. Yeah, they And we need, see, India, how it operates. It operates on, you know, the iconic status of a human being. That's all. Whether they are religious, or they are sporting icons, or Bollywood, or, somebody else. So that, unless we have, that product of one player whom everybody wants to meet and click
Mm.
selfie, we cannot go anywhere in India.
Mm.
That is what it is, simple. And it is not difficult in India to produce that one star. And because when I was in AIFF, carefully designed one project to see, okay, we may not be there, but maybe in 10 years, 15 years, we reached to a one, you know, that diamond, which would, change the entire fortune of the country. Like, say, you need to be seen playing with the best in the best league. And that is where, people will start believing that football has a future in India.
Correct.
Otherwise, your son, my daughter, we will be hesitant
In
to
sending our
in
kids.
sending our kid to football, because they will see struggling.
Mm. So just to wrap up on this ISL conversation, now the way I see it is, now this contract is up for renewal or renegotiation. If you were AIFF today, what would be, so before that, actually, the way I understand it is that AIFF would potentially be okay with a similar contract as long as there's a fixed commitment of money, right? Reliance, on the other hand, is saying that potentially that we have lost so much over these 15 years. So my estimate is that today most clubs will be losing 20 to 30 crores or 15 to 30 crores. When we were running in the earlier years, the first set of years, 40, 50 crores was our loss per season. So if there's a franchise that has been existent for 12, 13 years, they have probably lost 300 odd crores or 250 odd crores. That means around 3,000 crores being spent by franchisees. ISL centrally is losing money. Star Sports back in the day, and now Geo as the broadcaster is potentially losing money. Cumulatively, 5-6,000 crores has been spent on or invested in ISL. Right now, if I'm Reliance, my intention was to grow the sport. My intention was to bring the best people, best brands, best actors, best players, whatever best I could do to bring all industrialists together and try to build football. No question on the intention, and even approach question can only be in hindsight, right? So even they must be frustrated कि इतना पैसा लगा दिया, they used all their network connections, right? They've got tried to get all the brands, they have the best of everything, the production quality is good, whatever they could do, which whatever things they could influence, basically, except playing,
Yeah.
they've tried to do it in the best way. So where we stand is AIFF potentially will be okay with a similar agreement. Reliance, on the other hand, would be potentially very tired of this nonsense, saying we are completely losing money and no significant outcome is coming. So they have proposed a different model where AIFF is an equity partner, the franchise are an equity partner, and the league is also like a joint one, and also restrict right now still relegation promotion in some sense, because people who have invested so much money should not get relegated, and that's how MLS was also built in a way. So now, in a situation, if you were the deciding factor in AIFF, you were still the general secretary, which direction would you go? Would you take the Reliance deal, renegotiate it, or set up your own league again? Because I feel if AIFF creates a merger of I League and ISL, they'll still get 10, 12 franchises. You reduce the cost structures in a way where the teams are not losing 20, 30 crores, but maybe 10, 12 crores. So there's a 5, 6 crore franchise fee, and the player salaries have to come down, no doubt about it. And you try to make it more sustainable and try to build a product from scratch. And I feel AIFF, if they run their own league, it will be risky. And yes, there's a setup investment required, but they might end up making 40, 50 crores from franchise anyway. and at least a leak can sit. But what would you do?
Let's see, AIFF running the league, in today's situation, perceptionally and market-wise, uh, everyone will say majority that it cannot even run I League.
Hmm.
Therefore, how it can run,
ISL.
ISL, and we all also need to be very practical. Say that like those franchisee, the industrialists might not be coming forward to risk further if AFF owns it, because not because of anything else, but it they might lose further,
Yeah, the
yeah,
trust
because
on
of
the
the trust,
organizer. Yeah.
the factor and all. But see, the question from you, like how it should go forward, if I am there, or if I have any role to play, or I am there in this situation. See, we have to also understand is that those who have continue to suffer, and continue to put the money into the game, you know we need to protect them as well, very rare, because otherwise, like say tomorrow, or like Sanjeev Goenka leaves, or Asian Paint leaves, or John Abraham leaves, or Abhishek leaves. So where is the next Abhishek
Who's going to invest
thinking,
now? Yeah.
oh, if they could not, like John, they they really mean what they say, and they exhibit the passion and their seriousness as well. They go meet people, for football, yeah, not for their own thing, yeah. And when they could not, therefore,
How will it happen
how
then?
how will it happen, and that is, we should not allow to do that, because we are at that stage, because you are not in a situation where there are people are queuing to be part of you. Here you are, you have to dig maybe 100 miles down to get one, and that, uh, practically I am speaking, to get
New set
somebody
of
to,
people is not going to work.
yeah,
Yeah.
even in lakhs people are not ready to give. Therefore, here you require in millions, yeah. So what we need to do is, because at the end perception is very important, and having the right people there matters, because your risk as a footballing body is limited there, because you have given out all the risk to all
All
others
others.
divided, and they are part of it, yeah. And that
Hmm.
is why my thinking would be that how I can protect all of them, those who have lost, as you combinedly 6,000 crore, yeah.
But Chaji, if they
and
don't get
and
the
then,
deal they want.
yeah, so
Hmm.
I'm coming to that.
Hmm.
So therefore it need to see, like, it is like, you as a marketing, like as FSDL, you will have your proposal. As AIFF, we need to think what is good for football, what is good for people who are part of it, yeah. And then have to have an open discussion, and this discussion, we started like when I was there in AIFF in 2023 itself, like how to take it forward, what can be the structure. And I don't agree that that this easy money coming to AIFF.
You don't
And
agree.
no, this is where the whole culture of like what you say, you don't have to
Relaxation.
do anything. You know, your money is coming to your bank. You just need an ATM to withdraw, and that is where you are not trained in the right way to go to market, and you are not even trying to do extra for
Raising more money or
raising more money,
yeah.
yeah. And that is where, see, first thing when I made a public comment on AFF budget, I said we need to get 500 crore,
But Shaji,
Yeah,
explain to me now. Let's talk about AIFF, and I want to understand, especially you've spent time at the highest level there. What are the different incomes of AIFF? There is money coming from Reliance,
FSDL.
FSDL for ISL, which is around 50 crores or whatever that might be. Is there something coming from ministry or
Yeah, I'll tell you. See, the FIFA,
hmm,
AFC, there are grants, yeah, which is
annual
around
grants?
annual grants, yeah,
These are
which,
fixed grants.
yeah, this, will go to every country
Hmm.
in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's same,
Hmm.
which comes to us also. It may be, say, it will range depending upon certain projects, say, between AFC and FIFA, it will vary from, say, 13 to 18 crore annually, yeah,
Okay.
total.
Hmm.
That's one part. And then ministry is basically, the national team,
Hmm.
yeah, from age group to the senior team.
Hmm.
And they will, allocate some fund, and they reimburse and they pay direct as well.
Hmm.
So therefore it doesn't come to your kitty as money,
Hmm.
yeah,
But
but then they
costs are
take care of
saved.
the
Hmm.
expenditure.
What would be the quantum
Yeah,
of
see,
this?
it has come down significantly, in last 3 years. What I see, it is less than 10 crore.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it is ranging 5 to 7, 8,
Hmm.
9.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is where.
Hmm.
Then previously it even went up to 30.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then they take up, say, World Cup when happen. The
Hmm.
ministry invest. State
That
government
is a
invest,
special event.
and
Some.
then the money comes through your registration,
Hmm.
CRS.
Hmm.
Yeah, the coach education.
Hmm.
Yeah, again, there are a lot of expenses to
Hmm.
cover it,
Hmm.
and then some, say, the overall revenue size would be today some 80 to 90 crore.
So 50 from ISL, 10, 12 to 20 from FIFA,
FIFA,
AFC, and 7, 8, 10 from
yeah,
ministry, and some. Now,
yes.
of course, there is no other sponsorship now because all commercial rights are with.
Yeah, and what happened during, our with discussion with FSDL, they released certain rights to
Hmm.
AIFF
Okay.
because we requested
Hmm.
that, okay, let's go and monetize
Hmm.
independently, and then we will, then we agreed that 25% share will be given
Given to
to
them.
them. Yeah,
Hmm.
because why this, intentionally done, but we have to go to market and understand independently also. And that is where, and they were also gracious enough to,
Hmm.
give us
Hmm.
those, all the national competitions, yeah,
Hmm.
national championships rights were granted
Their
back. Yeah,
sponsorships. Hmm.
futsal, beach
Hmm.
soccer,
Hmm.
that way. And then, last season, I think I League was also
Hmm.
given back to AIFF, and that's how they went to, some other
So what happens
partner.
to the commercial rights of iLeague? So for example, tomorrow in a similar structure, if iLeague started getting some sponsors or started getting some broadcast money, and that goes to AIFF right now, like that's what you have negotiated out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
negotiate, that was temporary,
Hmm.
and they agreed.
Hmm.
And therefore it will again, you have to pay 20 to 25% to
25%.
them. That's all, if
Hmm.
whatever comes.
So
Yeah.
in this kitty of 75 to 90 odd crores, what are the major expense heads?
Expensive, your national team is biggest expenses, because one match would, anywhere from 1 crore to 2.5 crore it will go. The
Including
logistics,
everything, travel
yeah,
and this,
the
that.
more the camp, longer the camp, and then the support staff, the coach is all,
Hmm.
expensive.
Hmm.
Therefore, the national team requires, see what I was telling, we were, maybe 10 to 12 crores it was, but then it's very difficult to function. You need, you know, 30 to 40 crore for all the national
National
team.
teams, men's,
Yeah,
women's, and
to at
youth.
least to give them exposure, having the right camp and having the right team
Mm.
to manage them. Yeah, and that is, we still don't have the right people, because you need to invest in the best human capital to manage this, from the age group level. So therefore, this all, you manage somehow, yeah, but it is not the best case, yeah, because other countries whom we are competing, they have putting a lot of money into hiring right people, and in India the problem is again the mindset.
Mm.
in the federation and all, people, if you pay somebody good money, people think you're wasting money. No, you know, because
I
that
mean, you get a good person,
yeah,
they'll manage a budget much better, and
much better, and the result and outcome will be
yeah,
much bigger.
yeah.
Yeah, and that is where you have to invest in human capital. Yeah. And we are very weak in human
On one
capital.
side, we say that we don't have good people running our federations, and when federations invest in good people, then there is a criticism that you're paying them money.
Exactly.
But Shaji, from your point of view, this is a little tricky question. If you don't want to answer, I understand. Do you think from this 80 crores there is some leakage?
No, see,
I'm not saying corruption. I'm saying
yeah.
just used in things which are not towards the goal, where somebody's personal preferences or things like those.
No, I see. I tell you, perceptionally, there's everyone who is part of the federation uh, positions and politics, everyone is treated as equal. That everybody is corrupt. Yeah, that's the perception.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'm lucky that I was inside, I was outside. That way. But then it's only 5 to 7% people are corrupt. Yeah, they are corrupt. And they're only some are their understanding is such, they can't contribute. Yeah, so therefore, but there are people who are just there to manipulate everything for themselves, and that is real, but it's only 5 to 7%. Rest all are very dedicated. They might not know the best thing what to do, but then
But they care about the
they care
job
about
and
the
the food.
game,
Yeah.
all that. And people working in the federation, like most of them are like not corrupt. Yeah, they're good. They work extra. They struggle, and they also understand the limitations within the limitation. Because see, in football, there are workforce who are paid, but 90% who are working, they are not paid.
So
And
imagine somebody who's not paid will be
yeah,
doing it purely from the will of their heart.
will of the heart, and that is the quality you need, to bring all of them, and they continue to exist, and their population need to grow, and that's how we will be able to take football to every corner. And but this 5 to 7% examples, they are killing everything.
And if they're at the top, then their influence is a lot, right?
Absolutely,
So,
because when you are corrupt, you will not think football first. You will think, how I can, borrow money from doing this. They will conceptualize 24 into 7. Let's come up with something like this.
to make some money
To
here,
make
there,
some
this,
money.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
and those people, unfortunately, are there. Yeah, and we have to fight.
So,
Yeah.
what was your experience? So, let's start from the beginning. You were, before taking the role at AIFF, you were with Football Delhi, right? President. Of course, um, state associations have bigger challenges, very limited funds, and so on. And I believe, like, as a company and even individually, we had some conversations when you were in that role, and you were always very commercial minded, meaning we have to build IPs and projects where we can create opportunities for brands and organizations to come and get value from it and hence pay us,
Yes.
right? So, how did AIFF happen? Like, talk us through whether it was election or how did that happen from
Yeah.
Delhi to
Yes.
national?
Yeah. See, because in Delhi, I was lucky, that could get to that position, because I never wanted to enter into the election politics. But then it happened when we few friends invested in a club, and we played in the second division I League, and the whole experience was like we have to make bigger difference, because otherwise like we struggle, how many everyone is struggling. Yeah, like like we have network, good network, but then we could not go and sell anything about our club because we didn't knew when we are playing, where we are playing, how we are going to play. Nothing.
When, how many
Everything.
matches,
How many?
durations, is
Nothing.
that, yeah.
Like what is that you are going to sell? And we are not a people like we will go and tell lies. Yeah,
Hmm.
and we will try to milk somebody.
Hmm.
No, and that is where that kick came. We have to enter
Hmm.
and change things, and that's how I entered football Delhi, and and it's not easy. It's a completely thankless, and you will get all the bricks and muds rather than any good things.
Hmm.
But then when your focus is right, you want to do change, you want to transform. We started from minus everything. There was nothing. Yeah, and but then lucky that many people supported, contributed, and we could build something. And then the federation thing, then because of maybe my background, the good work what was happening in Delhi, people started, okay, let's we tried to do something in the federation.
Hmm.
And then federation got into crisis from the Supreme Court, all that happened. And then we all came together, and luckily that people was taking my advice, and we came together, and then they said, okay, you stand for
Elections.
elections. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I thought, okay, because if we have a good team,
Hmm.
where everyone, we had more than say 80% as one team.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that is where I then thought of, okay, fighting the election.
Hmm.
And then elections were announced. I even filed my nomination. And then
So, is there a minimum criteria for that nomination? Like, who all can file?
no, it is like, say, you have to be in the electoral college
Hmm.
of the federation electoral college. So every state will have one vote.
Hmm.
Therefore, I was representing Delhi.
Hmm.
Yeah. So therefore, my name was there, and then people proposed my name.
Hmm.
And then and then what happened from the ban happened, all that, and then Supreme Court then again changed the date of election, and then then the pressure came, and that too from the top,
Hmm.
to say that, okay, uh, you have to support somebody else.
No, so one second before that. So, once you won the election, who was the residing president at the time?
Where?
When you won the elections?
In Delhi.
No, no. When you won the AIFF General Secretary
Yeah.
elections,
Yeah.
who
No,
was the.
I was, see, general secretary is not an elected position.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
that's a nominated position.
Yeah, it is a proper, they from the executive committee decides on
They
the
decide.
proposal
Okay.
of the president. Yeah.
Understood.
Hmm.
So that way you were nominated towards that because of your good work in Football Delhi.
Yeah.
People saw that, and you also felt like there's a good team, so they nominated you, became the general secretary. At that time, who was the president, and what was the relationship?
No, I think, see,
We have
the
to be careful about the name because in our previous podcasts, whenever we have named politicians, our podcasts have started getting flagged.
oh,
So we'll call him president only.
yeah,
Yeah. Huh.
absolutely.
Hmm.
See, this relationship started before the election. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I was contesting as president. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then the pressure came that
Somebody else has to be the president.
somebody else has to be the president, and and it was like a shock, yeah, for us, because you know we
Out
knew
of nowhere, somebody
nowhere,
outside the
yeah, somebody
system,
just
outside from the
outside the
system.
system,
Hmm.
though, and then
Though ex-footballer, but still,
ex-footballer, yeah.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
it, the phone came, and then there was meeting, and then this person was also there in the meeting with somebody high profile, and then I was told that you need to support him, and you have to do a lot for the development of the game, and you are going to play a
Hmm.
lead role in
When you
everything.
originally envisaged moving from Football Delhi to AIFF, you wanted to be technically you wanted to be president. That
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
that was the
Absolutely.
plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from the local nominations, you felt like that was your deserving position.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you were said that you have to support, not only will somebody else be the president, but you also have to support them while probably doing most of the work, right? And take a supporting role rather than the leading role.
Yes.
But do you feel like general secretary is technically the leading role anyway?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No. See, in a if the constitution, if you read, the president has all the power, and president delegates the power, and you have to execute the decision of the executive committee under the supervision of the president. Therefore, you don't have the independence to work your own way. No, absolutely not. So therefore, but still, see, at that time, agreeing to it, because there were forces. I thought, oh, this is a football person, yeah.
Yeah, you
And
don't
then,
know what you don't know. You maybe
yeah,
you always give the benefit of the
and
doubt.
the bad luck was that nobody, told me except Bhaichung. Bhaichung, on the eve of the election, he tells me that you should back me, not back anybody else. I said, Bhaichung, uh, I have already given my word, and I am not a politician, that I will say something
Yeah,
and I
do
will do.
something else.
And it is not about me only, because my one vote not going to make a difference, but it is everyone collective's decision, and I am just part of it, and I cannot go back now, and uh, you are late. I said, I think that what, but then Baichung said, he that person is going to backstab you.
So
Sure, he told me,
yeah,
and you will suffer. I said, that anybody can backstab me, whomever I am,
yeah,
today with.
yeah,
Yeah, that can be anybody, my family member or my
yeah.
friends. That I
You
cannot
can't control
visualize.
that. Yeah.
That come it, we will face it. But then I told Baichung, like, because Baichung and I know, we both since '98, yeah, and we share a good rapport. We respect each other, and I was feeling bad for him because I knew before, it's not going to be Baichung's day, because I know the calculation,
Yeah,
everything,
and the
what
kind of
happened.
pressure you were getting, I'm sure others were getting also.
Yeah, because see, it was like I was pressured, like, yeah, then knew that, because I took 2 days to decide, yeah, even to agree to it, not that instantly I said okay. Then I said 2 days, but then when I experiences I've gone through, I thought the worst decision I've took in my life,
Looking back.
looking back, because it has not helped the game. See,
Now, would you?
forget it has not helped me, that's secondary.
Now, when you say worst decision was to back him, or worst decision was to still take the job knowing that this person will be the president.
No, the worst decision was to support, because like whoever would have been secretary, that's a different matter. But then ultimately, the person who is deciding everything, taking forward things, is president. Yeah, and it worked for 5-6 months.
So how did it? So after that, Casey became the president, and you obviously the two positions are such that you're hand in glove, right? Hand in glove, like you have to work together. So how did the relationship started?
No, see, I think I given it 100%. Thinking we are a team. Yeah, and I have never doubted. Uh, Maybe for past 6 months, not even 1 second, because I was so busy, occupied, and nobody was even telling me anything.
Yeah, new
And
job, you're trying to figure out everything. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like there is like you are in a war zone. That job, that position of a, you are, if you're serious, it's like a war zone. You are daily dealing with 100 problems, and you hardly know, like, how the day goes. Like, every minute there is a problem.
Yeah.
Every minute there is a problem. Nobody comes with solution, but everybody comes with your problem, and you're completely lost in it. Yeah, and within that time, you also have to think, because this guy has announced on the first day that 100 days we will come up with the roadmap without
Without
even
discussing
discussing.
with you.
Absolutely. How can you, come with a 100 days roadmap? No possible, because you need to engage the stakeholders, and we need to cut short all those process. Because if we are not discussing with the stakeholder, how we will know the problem, and then they have to implement certain aspects as well. Yeah. So then with great difficulty, we
Came up with the roadmap.
came up with the roadmap. That's how we kept it longer. Yeah. And then we had a 4-year cycle in it,
Correct.
where with the target,
Yeah.
and then of every 4 years, then we will revise and work
And work
accordingly.
accordingly.
And so that way it was practical. And we had I had a good 2-3 people who could focus on, the
Just
strategic
building that.
aspect. Yeah.
So where did it start going down wrong with
I,
them?
you know, it started wrong, where, like, see, I am a very uh, open person, and I speak direct. If I can't do anything, like you are saying, you have to do this, I say no, it's not possible. That's all. This
Yeah, there's
started.
no sugar coating or
Yeah,
yeah.
no sugarcoating, and yeah, where I say is reasonably possible, I'll say it will be
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Then slowly this started, saying, okay, like judicial bodies are completely independent. Like judicial bodies are disciplinary appeal,
Mm.
player status, all those. Yeah. So we have judicial bodies. Those some people might be known, in that body. So, we'll say, okay, this decision has to come in this way.
Mm.
I said, I cannot interfere, nor anybody else can interfere. I'll not be speaking. That's all. It's not possible. And then then certain projects started coming in, saying, okay, we need to do this. I said, it doesn't look practical. Where is the money? You know? And like building an app for broadcasting, yeah,
Really?
streaming, yeah. I said, where is the right? We don't have the rights. They say, no, we will broadcast Durand Cup,
Wow.
and then I said no, because and this person is very patient. He will not show in your face what he thinks. Yeah? And then he started manipulating others, telling about me. I'm bad. You are suffering because of him. Then he started, which
Yeah.
I didn't knew, because I was so occupied, because
Yeah,
I was
just the
giving,
work. Yeah, putting your work.
because
Mm.
it's like I even was spending less time with my family. Yeah, all this because there's so much to do, and you have limited time, because you have to answer everyone in 3 years, 4 years time.
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah,
what if you build then?
whatever build, and when you are sincere 100%, then it's a problem, because you know when you're working with dishonest person, and there are different agendas. So then you have to waste so much of time, energy managing that. And I used to be very blunt to say this is not possible, this cannot be done. You know? But then this person started. Then I have to be very blunt on his face. I told, you have no right to be here.
You said that.
Yes.
What was his reaction?
Then he took it.
The ultimate decision.
Yeah. But I like you won't believe, like those 4, 5, 6 weeks. Like I was just thinking, I have to go, but I was waiting for something.
So you knew something would
No,
come down.
I was prepared to go, because I wanted to resign and go, because see, I don't want to be seen as a failure. Yeah. Because in my life, whatever I have done, you know, maybe might not have done any super things,
Mm.
but I have given 100%, given, and I was honest and transparent in everything. Yeah.
Here your
And
name is attached to a body and you have very little control over.
Yeah, like say the Asian Games, like it was so much of amateurism, you know, political maneuvering. Yeah, I felt like, how can I be in this position? Because first the government said we are not eligible to go. That's fact. Okay. And I made a statement saying that, we will request the government to reconsider,
But why were we not eligible
because government made a policy that only those who are top 8 in Asia
in
in any
their
sport,
field?
they will only eligible. They might be right,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
why, but
Why invest
but
resources? Yeah.
again, this decision you should take, say, 4 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
Not like 2 weeks before,
Yeah. So
three, one
what
month.
I made up, because the media asked, and I always share, what is
Yeah.
transparent, because that's how I deal. Otherwise, you allow speculation,
Yeah.
and then you will end up crisis management.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what my policy was always, then I said, okay, I will share my response, the media, and I asked the media department to prepare a response on this line. And then I cross checked whether there is no controversy. We
Hmm.
are not kind of stating anything negative against
Negative.
government.
Yeah.
I
We're
think
just saying we'll request if they
we
can
will
allow
request.
us. Yeah.
This is what my statement.
Yeah.
And that came in the next day. And then there was a big
Storm.
social media storm. Yeah? And this guy comes and tells me, you know, your statement was bad. You should never give any statement again, on government
Government
matters,
matters.
on this matter. I said, okay, fine. So you are dealing with government. Okay, fine. No, I will not give. But then to say you're wrong, they say I am getting pressure, with this statement. I said, there is no, where is the,
There is what
anything
is
wrong in
wrong.
the
Yeah. We're
statement?
just saying we'll request. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, this guy, we have a meeting with the government, and where the list of players we have, okay, government agreed to send the team, and we have sent the list, and the coach has prepared. We have no business in, in any aspect
Choosing the
of
players. Yeah.
choosing the player, whatever. That's coach business. He given the list, register. The government asking, your best players are not there. Why we should send the team?
Wow.
Yeah. So, but then I said, this is not a FIFA window, and the players are the property of the club.
Yeah. You
It
can't
does.
force somebody to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have an understanding with the club. They will release these under 23 players, and that's how we will be competitive.
Hmm.
We'll go, and they will also play a friendly game,
Yeah.
and
And the
then
younger players will get exposure.
exposure.
Yeah.
So, but then, when they said this guy is not there, this guy is not there, so this guy instantly says, no, I will make everybody play
What?
instantly,
Wow.
and forced to change the player. And then that created, complete havoc in the system,
Then you have to go
because
to a club and say release a
ISL,
player.
then,
Has to
then
break.
the person said, I will, make the ISL postpone. And then the
Wow.
next day they makes the announcement, ISL itself. You first discuss,
Discuss
no?
with them. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Broadcast. There are broadcast issues. There
Yeah,
are
so
ISL
many
issues.
aspects. See,
Yeah.
you are not dealing in a, gully competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a serious thing. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, this is completely lack of experience, incompetency, and then coming under pressure.
Hmm.
Yeah, which, government, when they are discussing, they also understand this. Yeah, when you say this is not possible because of this situation, they are not going to put
Yeah.
gun,
Gun on your
or
head.
at
Yeah.
the end they might say, okay, don't send the team.
Fair
Fine,
enough. Yeah.
fine. It's not required to be sent, no, because, and then, and you won't believe the sit- then the team is going, and there are not enough players even.
So eventually, what happened? Obviously,
It was a start of, uh, the and negativity on Indian football. because the team is not able to do well. Players are reaching late, yeah, and there is bad press, negativity around, yeah, and the clubs are also struggling. You are making calls and calls. They're releasing one player tomorrow, somebody else, yeah. So it created a distrust between the coach and the management. The coach is not selecting the player.
I think it is okay for government to ask this question because they don't understand the
Yeah,
windows
absolutely.
and
They are
rules.
right. They are absolutely right.
See, if
But
I'm sitting in the ministry or government, whichever department, and I don't know much about the structure of football, and I see, okay, there is no Sunil Chetri, there is no Sandesh Jingan, there is no Gurpreet Singh, I might say, what the hell?
yeah,
But then if somebody explains that there's something called a FIFA window, there's something called ISL, they have commitments, the players are not owned by the federation while this is going on, then it is understandable. And they can say, okay, in that case, we don't want to send,
yeah,
which is
exactly.
fine.
Which is fine.
But
You know,
here there was a full khichdi of everything.
yeah, and that is the process, the trust was broken. I said, he's not a team man.
Yeah. Or even understands
Yeah, not
the
understanding.
structure of
And then he
football.
gives a statement in one of the leading newspaper saying, I don't know, how the federation functions. I was not part of this. I was not part of that. How can?
What was the selection process used to get him in? Was it officially like elected? Like you
No, no,
said,
he
there
was
was
elected, but he came through,
a
the
recommendation.
yeah, political recommendation, which I think, like even uh, those politicians, should have seen something,
Mm.
in him.
Mm.
I don't know what was that. Yeah, and today when you, I don't know whether they are evaluating or not, but then it has dented even the political party image, because the game has gone
Gone
to,
down. Yeah, it's
yeah,
really.
and everything is negative. So therefore, it has impacted the party as well. Yeah, and how can you afford to do that? Yeah, and there has to be course correction.
So before we talk about the next election, I want to finish the story of so what happened eventually. Like from what I have heard, you speak in other forums. You learnt about your that you were let go or asked to leave from the media. Like there was no direct communication. Is
No,
that
no,
true?
no, no. They communicated me on the 7th November 2023 around 8 p.m. Yeah, because I finished the office.
Mm.
Yeah, and there was a deputy general secretary who was my colleague. He was one of the conspirator.
Mm.
Yeah, who knew everything.
Mm.
Yeah, because 2 weeks back he was looking for my files and all.
Mm.
My
Contracts and
contracts,
yeah,
everything. Yeah.
yeah.
So HR came and told me in front of that person. He was looking. He didn't find. I said you should have asked me. you know, but then this I knew. They are cooking something.
Something.
But then I am still good with all of them.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not because my focus is work.
Mm.
But then I'm also waiting for the 9th November. There's an executive committee meeting. And then I wanted to put my paper
In the
and
meeting.
in the meeting and tell everyone why I'm leaving. That was my game plan. Yeah, but then what happened? That's my mistake itself. I was completely on him. That phone call gave him. Yeah, and this guy panicked, completely panicked, and then within say 30 hours, he sends me the letter. That's all. And I
But
said,
what is the case that you had filed? Like what was
no,
the
my case, then, after a month, I file a case saying that, they haven't followed any process. See, you cannot just sack somebody,
no reason, no
no, no,
notice, no
yeah, nothing,
nothing?
yeah. And then they put on the next day, they put a press release saying breach of trust. And in my letter, there is no nothing. You are doing a breach of trust, you have to send a notice, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some communication,
Some
something. Yeah,
communication,
some
yeah.
corrective
You
measures.
cover.
Yeah.
So they, put up just to defame me, and that too, just somebody just told within few people there.
Saying there has to be a reason, and this
They
is
to
this
they
is a
just put
reason.
a reason, and they put it like that. So then I kept I was thinking
What
what
to
to do,
do?
what to do, and then many contacted me. "Arey, you should fight. You should." Then I filed a case, and then within a day they stayed, and it is still stayed.
So it's still an active case.
Yeah, it's an active case.
And so your case is that no official process was followed, and your termination is not legal,
Yeah, exactly.
technically.
Exactly.
And they have just not responded to it as yet. Like they just stay on it.
Yeah, they stay on it. The see, I have there must be 10, 12 times the case has come. Some minor hearing happened, some modification happened. Then they said, okay, we will complete the process. Yeah, so they called the meeting. Then they again completed the process. They said, but then the court is not satisfied. I am not satisfied. Yeah, because it is, see, you can get rid of anybody, that's fine, and I cannot force them to
Yeah. But there's a way
yeah,
to do it and a process
absolutely,
to
there is
do
a
it.
way to
Yeah.
do it, and that is where their inexperiences are, and which is, see, like, I didn't, like, I never missed anything, absolutely, because I wanted to part ways my own way, because I was seeing darker days coming, because this person is completely unfit to be there, yeah, and he has forgotten his football. How can like, a sport which is has a lot of following, yeah, after cricket, and people are looking up to the organization to do credible things, and honest work. Yeah, it will take time, but then you have to be, doing, uh, try your level best. But everything is about PR. Just put me
In front
in
and
front.
yeah.
Rest wherever the game goes. I don't care. And that has hit me badly, saying, why, I could not do diligence in him. Like, I would have easily got
Yeah.
5 people, and I know his circle, everyone,
But
and I don't know, like, foolishness.
But Chaji, it's you're being harsh on yourself because he was not an administrator, so there was not too much information out there about how he would do his job. Like today, if I want to do a partnership with you, there is enough of your background in football for people to tell me what kind of a person you are, for me to look at the projects, the success, the failures, the to make a judgment. With him, he was outside from the system, and it was tough to really do
Yeah,
that
but still,
evaluation.
you make effort. You today, you will come to know
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah.
then you will not take that, not to team up. That's all. Let him do whatever. I should not, spoil my, because that, has put, lot of people who doesn't know me. Yeah, they will think, this person is also corrupt. This is also useless. All that, and they are right, because in thinking, because people come across that kind of people
See,
more often.
when you're in a position like general secretary, and the federation takes some decisions, whether it is your decision or whether it's a decision you were internally against, but if the federation has made some choices, you are already linked to that choices,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Whether they are corrupt, then you're also linked to it. Like you said,
Absolutely.
it might be only 5% people, but federation is seen like that,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But as an outsider, I will say that it was good to see that you fought, because I feel like sometimes it is like the larger, the stronger bodies, whether it is political, whether it's corporate, whether they always get their way, right? And as an outsider who's interested in the football industry, in the business side of football also, it felt good that you've done that. And I know probably the objective is not to make some compensation or whatever. Of course, if you get something great, why not? But the objective is to clear your name and to be transparent about what the hell is happening in Indian football. So, like, it was like genuinely, it felt good as an outsider because it felt like there is power to the people. Like, our judiciary should be able to give us an equal footing.
Yeah, see what I've gained a lot of this legal, fighting case experience as well. But then, our system is still not,
Mm.
there. I keep telling my family, friends, it's very hard, if how people get justice. There's no justice.
So I'll tell you my view on this.
Yeah, but
And
I fought because I'm a fighter.
no, no, I'll
Because
I'll give you my perspective. I don't think it is about the result to me.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To you, it would be for sure. But what you did for the football fraternity, the fact that you stood up, that in itself was an important statement for people like us who work in the industry and who feel like there are bodies and powers which overwhelm the system. So just the fact that you stood up and did that was a proud feeling from people in the industry. Of course, the results, the system can take forever. It potentially, I don't know whether there is manipulation, whether there is fairness. I don't know about that. And maybe it'll take so long that people would have forgotten everything, right? But at least that I'm glad that you took that stance because I think that itself clears your name, at least to people who are in the industry, right? So coming forward now, there's elections happening again. If you are just an outside observer and you feel passionately about Indian football, which you do, who would you see as leading Indian football now?
I don't know when the elections are coming because there is a Supreme Court verdict due
Hmm.
order maybe within this month, anytime it will come. Whether the order will have elections or
Or
this body to continue and
hmm,
finish its term, I don't
hmm,
know.
hmm,
But then, see, in the current scenario, like there may be enough people, but you know, you have to know the power centers to be there. That's all. You may not be played football. You might not have touched football, and you might not be even talked about football, but you can be there. Yeah, that's the situation today. So therefore, it is very like how this guy came. Therefore, to predict somebody, it will be
very difficult.
very difficult. But only I sincerely wish that that this person should not continue. Yeah, and he should not get the support of the stakeholder and those people who have pushed him or who have supported him thinking good of Indian football, because since he's coming from football background, people who have supported him might have thought
Yeah, at least you
he can,
understand. Yeah,
yeah, he is from football
there is a
background,
perspective. Yeah.
therefore they had good intention.
Mm.
But then this guy has not lived up to that expectation. Yeah, and he has what brought the game down. Yeah, and for me, like I have worked with previous two presidents. Yeah, uh, Das Munshi and Mr. Patel. Yeah, and I know too. This is the third person. Yeah, so therefore he is among three
Nowhere
is
at that level of
nowhere,
yeah.
nowhere. Yeah, nowhere in any sense. Yeah, even politically. Yeah, like football politics also. So therefore, and some people say he would be regarded as the worst in the from the 23rd June 1937 AIFF was founded. Yeah, and he would
Worse
be
from in the history.
worse in the history. Yeah, and say see, you if you have tried genuinely, you know but he what he has done all this time, just to protect his chair. That's all. He has protected his chair. Yeah, and he has done all that every second, 24 into 7. He has done that, and he spends maximum time in the office. Maximum time in the office. Yeah.
So whoever comes in now, Shaji, they'll have a very, very big responsibility to shape the future of professional football, especially because the MRA negotiations will depend on the new leadership, whether it's the same leadership continuing or new leadership coming in. How do you rate Baichung as a potential president of AIFF?
I think, see, the Bhaichung would be far better than this person, no doubt. Yeah, but I don't know whether he will stand. I really don't know. Uh, but he will do definitely a better job than him. Uh, and see, when 2nd September 2022 this election happened, yeah, if at that time the challenge was, out of 10 it was, say, 8.5, the challenge rate, I'm sorry. Today, that challenge would be,
9.9.
no, it will be, you 3 times, 4 times of that. Because see, the perception battle, yeah, you have, if you do a reputational rating, yeah, how you can do today, you can do, you can ask your team to do a reputational rating of AIFF and the leadership.
Mm.
You will get the result.
Mm.
Yeah, today it's easy because all the numbers are there on in
Mm.
social media.
Mm.
Therefore, you don't have to do a questionnaire and
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So that reputational rating, it will be worse in India in any leadership position. That
That's
is
crazy.
that is the level, and nobody is thinking that, because once your reputation uh, loses to a certain level and goes down, see, you're blocking so many hearts and minds to think good about the game.
Mm.
Forget the involvement, because you need, oh, thousands, like those who lost 6,000 crore, all the franchises. You need 60,000 crore investments,
Yeah.
in next 10 years,
Mm.
because we don't have good stadiums. We don't have, uh, that number of uh, people playing the game. Yeah, like say women's football, we have a great potential, but we need to do a lot, yeah, to challenge the top 8, top
In
7 in
Asia.
Asia itself.
Mm.
Yeah, but we can do it. But then
Mm.
that requires investment. That requires,
Mm.
people to come together.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot. So that all happens with, having the right perception,
Mm.
having the right image. So therefore, whoever is coming, yeah, the battle is very difficult, very
Mm.
challenging, and then, you have to renegotiate MRA. You will have different partners, whether how long it will take to work, and reshape everything,
Mm.
and the fans have completely, alienated.
Yeah, we've lost as fans. We've lost trust in how football is run in our country
Yeah, and also see
completely.
the national team ranking today
Performances.
is
Yeah,
133. Yeah, just today, FIFA ranking. We 127 to 133 now. Yeah, and we have 2 games coming in October against Singapore. Yeah, and there will be a new coach. So therefore, if we are not able to qualify for the Asia Cup 2027,
that's a huge loss on the.
yeah, and you know who allowed this to happen?
Mm.
Somebody was telling, it needs 10 years project.
Yeah, but you
Come
have to
on.
work every year
This,
to.
you
Yeah,
to beat a lower rank side, you don't need 10
10
years.
years. Yeah,
You just need 2 days of right smart
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider going back to AIFF
Oh,
in better circumstances?
in this situation, I really don't want to be
Okay,
part
let
of
me rephrase
anything.
that. Would you ever consider going to AIFF as a president, where you
Yeah,
have more control?
not about control. See, if any opportunity comes in future where I think, we have a good team to do transformational work, yeah, definitely will consider, because see, all my life, I've devoted for the game, and I remain in India, yeah, only thinking that I'll be able to do something for the country. Otherwise I would have long gone to, better positions, better work, and I would have been, my family would have been much happier, uh, and that way. So, but today I am not confident, not even 0.1%, that I will be, doing anything with Indian football. You know. My focus is right now, my family, my health,
Mm.
and whatever support I can give to people that way. But all in the football structure, I don't want to be part of it.
Mm.
Yeah, and if any time comes where there are good people, I will support, that's all. But then I don't want to be part of the system, because the experience I had, nobody should have. Because when you are dedicated, when you are honest, when you are given everything and sacrificed the most, yeah, and you get that kind of experience, which is better to stay away. Because see, we are hardcore football people, yeah, we understand politics, but we can't, we don't want to be political football.
Yeah, you can't live that on a day-to-day basis
Yeah,
where, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Because we want to, we want to be answerable. Yeah, because w- like when we make comment, we make judgment about a lot of things, and it is done with responsibility. Saying that if you are in that position, or if you have the opportunity to do something, you will do the right thing, because it impacts, your decision impacts millions.
Mm.
Yeah, and it impacts your country.
Mm.
Yeah, and that where and I have seen people in difficult circumstances working across the globe, and with limited resources, still doing better. And that is where used to get motivated, like India can do much better, because we are much more resourceful. Only thing, we are not resourceful enough to bring all the
Mm.
resources together.
Together.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that was a major weakness. And I always that was a motivation for me. And and the potential for Indian football is much high, because like since 96, I've devoted to it.
Mm.
96, because when I've done my research on Indian football, that given me motivation that, oh, what, we can do a lot,
Mm.
you know and that's where I built the whole network of people, everyone, and the knowledge and the understanding about Indian football, and always remained
Yeah.
thinking, that I will be able to do, and wherever opportunity came, I've done. Yeah, and yeah, I might not have talked about it.
So Shaji, just to end this conversation, you've basically seen almost all different aspects of football. You've led a regional federation association. You've led a national federation. You've owned a club. You worked with FIFA, and in that time, under 17 World Cup came to India. Integral part of that. Integral part of ISL planning in some sense. Integral part of even getting commercial brands like Nike into Indian football. So the depth and breadth of the smallest of positions to the biggest of positions throughout your career you've seen. And like you mentioned beautifully that you've stayed in India. Like I would always imagine that when you were with FIFA, you would have gotten opportunities to take larger roles abroad and so on and so forth. But having said that, I know you've taken a step back now, like because of this case and the bad experience that you had. But I feel you have a lot more to give to the sport. So if you were to take some time away and then come back bouncing, what would be one or two things you would want to contribute more in the in our industry?
I see in football in India, there's still a lot to be done. And if I have the opportunity to do something, definitely, the grassroots push is where I will be devote time, where more kids come and be part of the game, and more kids to be there, and how government can become, key mover in
Mm.
grassroots of sports.
Mm.
I will not take only football, but how they really now, the government is doing a lot through Khelo India, yeah,
Mm.
impacting the youth. Yeah, they're doing university games now. They are coming with Northeast Khelo India. There's so many, but what it requires is at the state level, at the panchayat level, how we can really give children opportunity to play. Yeah, and football can be the biggest uh, sport there. Why? Because it is cheapest.
Mm.
Yeah, and you don't need everything standard. Yeah, and that's where what I say is that we are what yesterday only day before yesterday, there was a statistics that the screen time is 200% more than what it should be. Yeah, and this is going to be biggest crisis for the generations coming. Yeah,
Mm.
they will have a lot of lifestyle diseases,
Mm.
issues, and productivity will hamper for the country. And that is where I want to influence policies, where before even they go to school, how children start to play, more out of the home, yeah, or maybe within the home, yeah, and that if I can do, and then definitely we will see, you know
Lot.
through today the digital AI model, we can build a lot of things whereby to bring people out of the home, especially children, and have more playtime. And that is what I want to do, as future, to promote that, irrespective of football or
Yeah.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's my focus. And yeah, if you know wherever I can impact anything, you don't need position.
Mm.
Yeah, and I always think these positions are temporary, and you should never marry any positions,
Mm.
and that would be problem. Yeah,
Mm.
and that's why I'm very lucky that any positions I have gone, I can move that out of that position easily, because I'm not loving the position, but I am loving the work,
Mm.
what I am able to do. So therefore I have that mentality, and I will continue to do that. And I want, you know like Indian football to do well wherever I can influence. Yeah, uh, without any position, I will do so, because I'm really fortunate that I'm part of the AFC board still, and the South Asian Football Federation board also today. Yeah, therefore, what I can do through them, till my tenure, which is till 27. Yeah, to do some smart work, uh, influencing growth of football in Asia, South Asia. And I'm also thinking how South Asia is, women's football can be a bigger
Mm.
push. Yeah, because now Bangladesh has qualified, India has qualified, even Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bhutan, Pakistan is also part of it. So their women's football can be a big force. Yeah,
Correct.
like man football might not reach early to a stage where we can compete, with the best. But Bangladesh and India are the top 12 Asian countries who are going to play in the next year's AFC Women's Cup. Therefore, I'm thinking how what I can. So therefore, I'm daily doing something. Yeah, but influencing people who are in the decision making to do something, and that is where my focus will always be, because I am not after any position. Yeah, and positions, yeah, you can do 10x things. That's the beauty of position,
Position.
if
Yeah.
you are honest. And if you have a good team, then you can do a 20x. Yeah, and that is why I have
You
taken up that
taken a
position,
position.
that you know this I thought there's a good team, we can do a lot. And that's where the whole vision came out of that. Not you know
Not as
uh,
a power
not as
hungry.
a
Yeah.
and it was not a paperwork. Absolutely, it was genuine, and very authentic thought. that this we can do.
Mm.
Yeah, because I thought everybody is working as one. We can
And the
do,
good
and
of
it's
the
a great
sport, yeah,
opportunity. It's a
yeah.
good of sport. So therefore, I think I always want Indian football to do well, and that is where, see, because whatever I am today because of football.
Mm.
Yeah, and everything football has given me.
Mm.
Yeah, and therefore I want to add more to that without having anything out of that.
Mm.
And that is where I remain social, because that's why I'm a failed entrepreneur. I tried my hands, and I've tried one or two times more, but then I can't, because like it's my natural this that I want to give rather than
Yeah,
take.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and that is where I think I've tried a few things, but then again I thought, no, you
Mm.
know
Mm.
I have to do more philanthropic work, and uh, do
Yeah, the
something
development
for
of the sport.
the game, for the sport, for the country, and hope, and God is great that way. God is kind also, and I believe in karma.
Well, Shaji, thank you for the time today, and also thank you for your service to Indian football. I really hope that before both of us move on to another dimension of this universe, we see India play football World Cup at one time, even if it's a women's team to start with, and then the men's can follow.
Thank you, for having me, and I wish you all the good luck. And I'm sure your podcast and other ventures will be great success,
Thank you.
and you will be able to inspire and motivate uh, India and the generations to really focus towards sport, and create something meaningful for the country. And India is going to host the Olympics 2036. That way, everyone will have a role to play, and that is
Absolutely.
where I think uh, you will also contribute in a bigger way. And all the best and good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.